Hey everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to take a photograph of a material and turn it into a tileable texture for renderings in Photoshop. I have a few free texture downloads on www.renderedpro.com, but in order to show your clients the most accurate representation, it's best to know how to make your own custom materials. The buttons in Photoshop might vary slightly depending on the version of Photoshop that you have, but the general idea will stay the same. I'm starting with a photograph that I took of a brick wall. Since the photo shows a perspective view, we're going to do our best to flatten it so that it can be applied to a flat face on a model. First, make sure that your rulers are showing on the top and the left side of the image. If they're not, go to View and check Rulers. Next, pull guidelines down from the rulers in order to have a perfectly horizontal line that will guide you. Now hit Select All and Edit, Transform, Distort. From here you can pull on each corner of the image in order to align the grout lines with the perfectly horizontal guidelines that you pulled down in the last step. Make sure when you click off to hit Apply the Transformation. Now do the same in the vertical direction. When you're done adjusting the straight lines, it's time to crop the photo into a square. A square texture isn't required for all rendering programs, but some like Lumion really do need it to be a square, so I usually just do them all this way. Using the crop tool on the left panel, hold down Shift and you'll get a perfect square. Since this is going to be tileable, it's important that the top and bottom make sense together. So if there's a line of grout left on the bottom, make sure the top ends with brick, not grout. Otherwise you would have a double thick line of grout. In the case of brick, also make sure that the coursing makes sense so that you don't have vertical grout lines that align with one another. Now the next step varies depending on what texture you have. With brick, there is a definite top and bottom, up and down because of the shadows that the bricks create. With something like metal, that might not be the case. If there isn't a top and bottom, it's easier to make it seamless when you can just mirror the image up and down, left and right. So let me show you that. Go to Image, Image Size, and make the image a quarter of the size you actually want it to be. Make it an easy number to multiply. I will adjust the resolution depending on how clear I need it to be. I usually choose between 100 and 250 pixels per inch. Then I will make the canvas twice that size in each direction, anchored in the top left corner. Now I will expand the Layer menu, right-click on the layer, and choose Duplicate Layer. Although I like to right-click the layer, you can also find each of these actions with the Layer drop-down tab on the top toolbar. After you duplicate the layer, go to Edit, Transform, Flip Horizontal. Using the Move tool, slide the new layer to the right, aligning the edge with the first layer. Now right-click and select Merge Down. Right-click again and duplicate this layer. Once again, go Edit, Transform, but this time click Flip Vertical. Now use the Move tool to slide this layer down so that the top of the image meets the bottom of the image above. Once you right-click and select Merge Down, you've finished your tileable texture. To double check our tileable texture, I'll go to Image, Canvas Size, and create a larger canvas. From here, I can duplicate the layer in every direction to make sure that the edges are seamless. And that's it for the metal, but let's get back to that brick. Since we already cropped the image so that the top and bottom edges work with each other, we just need to make the right and left sides align. To do this, go to Layer, Other, and Offset. If you have Preview checked, you can see how far your image is offsetting as you move the slider. Sliding it so that the seam is somewhat toward the middle, I can click OK and finish making it seamless from here. Using the Clone Stamp tool, I can now copy grout, brick, and adjust colors and heights to fill in the seam all the way down. Click Alt to copy a texture, and release Alt in order to paint it back on. Now I'll do the same check with this image by going to Image, Canvas Size, and making it larger than the current size. From here I can duplicate the layer in every direction and slide it over to double check that the bricks are seamless. And that's it! Now you have a tileable brick texture that you can use for renderings. If the color of your brick isn't suitable for your project, however, you can go to Image, Adjustments, and Hue Saturation. Here you can isolate certain hues and adjust them individually. Oftentimes the grat will have yellowed, so I desaturate the yellows first. Then I can adjust the red brick to be any shade or color that I like. If you would like more tips and tricks on rendering topics or to download models and textures, be sure to visit renderedpro.com.